Dana,
I don't even think Ariel's that bad.
immediate reaction to the press conference.
It was dark, man. It was the darkest press conference I've ever been a part of. But, Conor McGregor is the master of mental warfare. I said it before, and I'll say it again, man. I think he's better than anybody, even Ali. You don't ever want to say anybody's better than Ali, but I think when it comes to the mental war game in this sport or any other sport, Conor McGregor is the best ever.
Some of the things that he had come up with today, did you even know what he was talking about with some of these things, like Putin and all this stuff?
Here's the thing about McGregor, too. He's so good at it, he studies. He studies every little thing. He talks to people. He finds out stories inside of a guy's camp. Look at the whole thing that he did on The Ultimate Fighter with Uriah Faber, with TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt and all those guys. At one point he had Cody Garbrandt jumping up trying to fight him. He is the master. He is the best ever to do it. Nobody does it better than Conor does.
In hindsight, the right move to keep it away from the public, to keep this a private event?
Yeah. I questioned it a couple times going in because I love having the fans be a part of everything that we do, but I absolutely made the right decision on this one. I felt it halfway through the press conference, and I'm definitely feeling it now.
How do you think it would have been different if there were fans here?
I think there would have been a lot more energy, and I think that there would have been a lot of Khabib supporters and a lot of Conor supporters, and I don't know. I just don't think it would have been a positive thing. I think it was much better this way.
There will be, I guess, a press conference in Vegas with fans involved. Is there any extra security planned and that kind of thing?
We had extra security here. We'll have security there, and we'll have security at the fight. And at the end of the day, one of the things that we obviously the fights are always great, man. I can count on one hand how many fights have sucked in the history of the UFC since we've been here, and we always try to put on the best show possible for the fans, and that's what we're going to do in Vegas too. So it will be good.
What did it take to get Conor back? He had said he wanted an ownership stake, but he admitted today that he didn't get that. So what did it take to get him back in the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, listen. Conor is the type of guy, Conor knows exactly what he's worth, what he expects to get, and at the end of the day, he's worth it. Conor McGregor, this thing, we were just looking at the streams for this, it beat Maymac. This press conference beat Maymac, the highest rated Maymac that we did on the tour. The kid's brilliant, and not only can he talk, is he funny, and all the other things that he is, shows up and he fights. And he will fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. So he's worth it. It was not hard to get a deal done with Conor McGregor because we also know what he's worth.
And the whiskey is part of that package with him, that it's going to be on the canvas, proper 12?
Correct.
Will this be the highest anyone's ever made in the UFC as far as fighters goes in this fight?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, because I think it's going to be the biggest pay-per-view we've ever done. This morning, I was doing the rounds this morning on different networks, and we were trending at 2.5 million pay-per-view buys, which is, if you look it up and you know the history of pay-per-view, it's one of the biggest ever. So not just in UFC, but everywhere. You're up there with like De La Hoya Mayweather. You're up there with Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, fights like that. So that's where that thing was trending this morning. I don't know what these numbers mean today, but it definitely doesn't suck,
When you say trending, is that already pre-sales, or is that just people making requests?
So they're based off pre-sales on all the different platforms, including ours.
You said that John Jones is not headlining UFC 230 here at Madison Square Garden. Who is headlining UFC 230?
We'll announce it soon. We're working on the deal now.
Tickets are on sale this week, right? So I guess that would have to be sometime.
Exactly. We got to get shit done.
Hey, Dana, when there's that much tension and you're managing it and kind of keeping, I know when he grabbed the whiskey and he was trying to offer it, I saw you kind of making sure he wasn't going to drop in his face or something like that.
That's exactly what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah. When you're doing that and then you get them in the square off and then somebody like Ali Abdelaziz is in the back and he starts talking, how disruptive is that sort of
thing? It's bad, and that's one of the things that I tried to avoid at this press conference. It's bad enough when the two fighters are going at it, but then when the camps start to get involved, that's when shit goes south, and that's what we were trying to avoid here with everybody.
And does that give you a little more pause for, like, as you go into fight week, like just contemplating that sort of thing?
We were very smart in the way we handled this today, and we will be even smarter at the next one and at the fight.
Due to the passion of the crowds that are going to be for these two fighters, are you guys doing anything different or beefing up security for this?
Yeah.
event?
There's going to be security, and we're ready for this. We're ready for this. We made this fight. This fight's going to go off. There's a lot of bad blood, and I'm sure there's even more now. And this will be handled literally perfectly for the fight, for the fans, for everybody. Everybody wants to see a fight, man. So we will make this thing work.
You had a few NYPD officers on stage during this. Was that their idea or your idea?
Yeah, well, obviously New York is concerned after what went down here last time. I think the commission here is concerned after what happened last time, and frankly, we're concerned. So, listen, it isn't a bad thing to have a little bit. I ain't as fucking young as I used to be, so it isn't too bad having some backup.
All the things that Conor said today, do you think Khabib is affected by any of that?
Yes. You're not human if that doesn't affect you. It's impossible not to infect you. And Conor knows that. Conor came in and did what Conor does. That's why I say it. He's the best ever. There's never been anybody better at the mental warfare game than Conor McGregor. He's the absolute best of all time.
Do you guys ever talk to fighters after the fact about maybe what they bring up there? Do you ever try to reel them in or just let them
This
go?
is the fight business, man. This is not the nice business. It's the fight business. And mean things are going to be said. Things that are probably out of bounds are going to be said. But the beauty of fighting is, on October 6th, they will step into the octagon and everything will be settled.
Dana, there was an incident on the plane yesterday for Conor McGregor. Do you know exactly what happened, or can you talk about exactly what happened on the plane?
I have no idea.
There's something with security and...
I don't know anything about it, but yeah. I know New York was a little nervous about Conor being here, so the state of New York and the commission and everybody was concerned. Because obviously, I mean, if you look at the press conference today, these guys hate each other, and this is serious to both of them.
What do you think about Mayweather-Pacquiao, two coming up possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they'll both make a lot of money. You know, I don't think it'll do what it did the first time, but I think it will. I think it will be very profitable for both of them.
Think it'll do better than Conor Khabib?
I don't know. The difference is here's the difference in a fight like this, and no disrespect to either one of those guys, because obviously, you know, if you look at what Floyd's done in his career, and I was a big Pacquiao fan, you know, his whole career. But what fight fans really want and what fight fans love are two animals who are in their prime, you know, and fighting for the belt or dislike or whatever it might be, like this situation with these two. The reason this fight is so big, because this is a real fight. This is a legit fight with two of the best in the absolute best in the world, undefeated, you know, Khabib and Conor McGregor, who's incredible. At the end of the day, that's what sells and that's what fans want to see.
With John Jones coming back and Daniel Cormier saying he wants to defend his title again at light heavyweight before he fights Brock, what does that mean? Is there any chance those two coincide?
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how this thing plays out. First of all, Cormier's hand is still messed up from the fight with Stipe. So, you know, we'll see how this whole thing plays out. I have literally no answers about any of that yet.
What do you think the
And this
odds
thing
are?
just happened yesterday with Jones.
Right.
Who saw that coming? He's not in shape.
Yeah.
He's got to get in shape and train. There's turmoil going on right now in his camp. You know, there's a battle between Cerrone and the camp split in half. Half of his guys are over with Cerrone. The other half are over there with the other guys. And I don't know.
What are the odds, do you think, that Cormier will be able to defend his light heavyweight title before he fights Brock, and then, as he says, he's going to retire in March next year? So,
Say that again?
do you think Daniel Cormier will be able to defend his light heavyweight title and fight Brock Lesnar before he retires it, when he says he's going to retire?
Who said that,
in March?
Cormier?
Cormier.
He hasn't said that to me.
Well, he said he was going to retire by his 40th birthday, which is March.
Got it. Everybody says that. That's what they all say. Yeah, retiring isn't as easy as it sounds.
Dana, have you spoke to John Jones? Have you talked to him since this?
Just in
happened?
text.
Yeah.
Not since this thing. Not since this happened yesterday. I've been
You seem like
I'm home like 5 days this month, so I haven't really been.
You seem like you had reservations, obviously, about putting him in a big spot, and then we did UFC 214, and the whole thing goes down, and here we are again. Do you have more of a trust, I guess, with him through this process somehow coming out of the back end of this? Do you feel like you can trust him again in a big spot like
I
that?
don't know. I mean, talking about trusting him is whatever. This is his life. This is his life. He's had obviously a lot of opportunities, and he's getting another one. Let's see what he does with it.
This past weekend, Golden Boy had the presser with Liddell and Ortiz 3. I don't know if you saw that. They actually said some decent things about what the UFC had done, but then they also said about how they wanted to change the pay scale. I didn't know if you saw the presser or had thoughts, or maybe are sad about the fact that the fight's even happening in the first place.
Of course I am. I don't think it's any secret how I feel about Chuck Liddell personally and professionally. And, I don't want to shit on his deal that he's going on, and I hope he makes a lot of money. I hope the event is very successful for them, and, but I wish it wasn't happening. I don't think that Chuck Liddell should be fighting, and that's why I begged him to retire 10 years ago. So, I hope it's very lucrative for him, and he does well.
Is there a time frame for Woodley Covington? Is that the fight?
That's the next fight that needs to happen. So, obviously, Woodley just fought. Colby couldn't fight because he was hurt. So, we'll see how that thing plays out, too.
That couldn't end up at MSG, could it?
It could. I highly doubt it, though. I highly doubt it.
When does Logan Paul make his big UFC debut?
That guy would get murdered here. He would get hurt badly. Yeah. If I ever let him fight in the UFC, I should be arrested. Okay? And everybody's going to go, you let CM Punk fight in the UFC? But hey, no hate for the kid. Good for him, man. Look at the business that guy has built on YouTube and the number of pay-per-views they did on YouTube. They did $800,000 at $10 for two guys that fight fans have never heard of, I guess you would say. So he's built a great business for himself. Good for him, and it's awesome. But trust me, don't play around over here. You will get hurt.
Logan Paul versus CM Punk.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody always talks about CM Punk. CM Punk is one of the greatest guys you could ever meet. He's a super good guy. He was very passionate about the sport, and he put his reputation and everything on the line to come fight here. I respect him for it, and obviously it didn't work out for him, but he's got a lot of heart and a lot of balls to do that.
Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thanks, Dana.
Thanks, Dana.
Cool.
There's one over here with CNN.
That was right in my battery.